Hi, friends, and welcome back to Up Until Now, your next chapter. And I hope everyone had a great holiday season. And as we start the new year, I thought a great way to kick it off was with a truly remarkable episode. And I have the right person for that today. She is someone who really knows the struggles, the challenges, and the wins that we all have as entrepreneurs because she is an entrepreneur, but she is incredible. She has cracked the code to becoming a revenue producing rock star. Today, my guest is Starr Hall. I met her probably 20 years ago online. She was a publicist then, and she is a business strategist. She is just a guru when it comes to marketing. I know she's authored a book. I think I met her back then. And she's just a phenomenal person that can really help you boost up those revenues. So that's what we all want. So, Starr, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. What an intro.
Well, I've known you off and on for those 20 some odd years. And I know that in the past few years anyway, you've built some multi-million-dollar brands for people and yourself. And you yourself own not one, but probably quite a few different little companies or big companies, I should say. And so I thought we should start maybe at the very beginning where where you began, where I met you as a publicist. What drew you to that career and what were some of the challenges from that?
Wow, start at the beginning. I mean, how long is this podcast going to be today? I don't remember exactly how or when we met, but I know I was touring when I was doing keynotes and speaking around the globe. I was somewhere in there with my books, but my beginnings came from a very young age of 9 when my grandmother, who was also a publicist, and she started the craft and hobby industry. She's the inventor of Aleene's tacky glue in the gold bottle. And she saw something in me out of all the children and started taking me on the road with her. And she'd throw newspapers down and say, get me in there or get me on that radio show. So it was like she motivated me through fear as a child. Like I had no choice. I had to do it. Right. But that's why I have no fear. I mean, not no, I have some fears that come up, but when it comes to reaching out and getting coverage and partnerships and media and all that, no fear. Like rejection, bring it on. I could care less because the way my grandmother trained me scared me half to death, but it kicked all that fear out of me. Right. So to catapult forward, I was a publicist and I did pretty good for a while. I had my own publicist, which was my second personality. I named her Holly Grant. So that's a whole long story. That's a podcast in itself.
I know that you at one point posted something about the word Holly. So now it's kind of making sense.
Yeah, exactly. So I was having a hard time getting bookings and coverage and the media to pay attention to me. And one of the bookstores, because back then you actually went to bookstores and did book signings and had hundreds of people show up. And I remember it was not a board. What was the other one? Not Borders Books and Music. What was the other one? I don't remember the other bookstore that went under. Anyway, it was the other bookstore, but
what was it called?
I know. It's going to drive me crazy. But the lady on the other end said, "Have
Books a Million."
No, it's not Books a Million. It's the other one.
Well, there's Barnes Noble, but they're still here.
They are still here. It's the one that's not.
Okay. So it was in a bookstore.
It was in a bookstore. And the booking lady said, have your publicist give me a call and we'll get you booked. And I'm like, okay. Hung up and I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't have a publicist. I am a publicist. Wait, what's happening? So that's when I created Holly Grant. And for the next 5 years, Holly went on to book all my tours, got me book deals, got me in the media. And it was amazing because what happened is I stepped outside of myself. It was still me.
Like going to a masquerade party.
Yes. And I just had this different level of confidence. And Holly was amazing. She's been on, she's retired and been on vacation now for probably 20 years, but she deserves it. And then I'll never forget one of the book signings I showed up to and they were rushing me in and they said, gosh, it's so funny. You sound a lot like your publicist. And I said, it's funny because a lot of people say we look alike too. Nobody ever knew. Nobody ever knew. But that's kind of how I started. And truly, over the decades of technology changes and PR has changed. I mean, talk about having to pivot, right? I mean, you're familiar with this. We're like pivot buddies, right?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I had to pivot very quickly when social media surfaced because I knew when it came up, I knew there was something about it, and so many people were fighting it. And I thought, nope, this is where it's going. So I jumped on a very early adopter, one of the first users on Twitter, one of the first when Facebook released publicly, and then got picked up from Entrepreneur Magazine and a bunch of companies that were trying to understand it and break in. But I spent 20 hours a day learning it to become the expert. And so that's when I got my book deals and my speaking tours and, Sprint and UPS and all these companies hiring me, like, teach us, what is it? Like, what's a twit? No, it's a tweet, just base stuff.
A twit is that neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. That was funny. But anyway, so I pivoted and I'm finding myself pivoting over the last few years, even post-pandemic. I'm continually pivoting. And if you're not, one of my first pieces of advice for clients, friends, whomever wants to listen is if you're not open to pivot, you're screwed. Like, go work with someone else. You got to pivot as an entrepreneur.
Something that a friend of mine that's in the advertising business, and it's changing so rapidly. I said, how did you stay on top of things? She says, you have to stay on top of new technology and the new things that are coming out, because if you don't, you're done tomorrow.
You are done. And it's scary. Like, believe me, I have no idea. Zelda, here's one of my secrets. I have no idea what I'm doing half the time.
That's scary. I rely on you.
I don't know, but guess what? I act as if like I've been just doing videos. It's not that I don't know how to do videos, but some of these fancy videos and all these effects, and I could wait until I perfected and learned that. It'd take me 3, 6 months, maybe a year. Why? No, I'm just going to get my face back there.
So here's what kills me about those. In fact, I'm having this struggle. So you sign up for one of these digital platforms and you learn it finally and you master it and you're good at it. And then what happens? They change it. They go, oh, let's get into the system and let's mess with it a little bit. And then you're all messed up again. That's my space.
But you know what? That's constant. If you take technology out of that, if you're not talking about technology, that's with anything throughout our lives.
Yeah.
You get used to we got used to, boy, this is really dating me, but like the Chips Ahoy chocolate chip cookie or the Reese's Pieces buttercups, those aren't the same formulas today. Like I'm taking food as an example, but they're constantly changing to save costs or whatever their reasons are in the food industry. Everything's changing and some people can't adapt to change. A lot of people can't. And that's why a lot of people don't succeed. They can't adapt to change. And the other thing is you're going to have problems as you grow your business. It's just part of it. So you have to learn to be like, so what I do, again, I step out of my problems. I kind of put them in front of me. And I look at them like I'm a big giant and they're little teeny things. And I just kind of pick them up and go, okay, I'll deal with this one. I'm bigger than my problems. That's my mindset. I've had lawsuits and from business growth and I've won all of them, by the way. But anyway, that's not my point. People will go after you when you're succeeding. It's just part of being domesticated in this society. Yes. They want more. Yes. And so you just have to be bigger than the problem. I'm not saying I haven't got knocked down. Oh, it's happened, but I got the hell back up.
It's kind of like when it's like when I'm tackling this big problem right now, I'm trying to create this course. And every time I come into a difficult part of it, and as you know, I've been coming into a lot of them, I have to just basically stop what I'm doing. And then just instead of eating the whole elephant at one time that's in the room, just take a little piece of it and say, okay, I'm just going to deal with this one little thing and I'll master it first and then I'll move on. So it's really just taking those little pieces of parts of the project and just doing a little bit at a time.
I love that. I only do 25 minutes. I set a timer when I'm doing HPAs, which are my high payoff activities that I do for my own companies and my clients. I only work for 25-minute increments, and then I take 5 to 10-minute breaks.
And that's great advice.
Yeah, because my brain can't go for no human brain can creatively produce unless they take breaks. And a lot of people just don't understand that. And they keep going, and then their production or the creativity or their level is less and less. Mm-hmm. No, I produce more results when I only work 25 minutes at a time.
That's awesome. So let me go back for a second. You said to me that you were struggling and you must have had that aha moment. What was that aha moment that shifted your mindset that said, I'm a struggling publicist and now you're a revenue making machine. Where was that aha moment for you and what was the shift?
Great question. So I've had a lot of struggling moments throughout my career.
I think we all have.
Yeah, it's just part of it. Like, honestly, I expect it in every company I start. It's just a part of it. But I think so I was a single mom with 3 kids, very young. I had kids at a very young age, which I'm very grateful for because, I don't know if I could have done kids older. That's another podcast in itself. But I think it really came when I had to decide with my 3 kids if I had to pay the light bill, put more food in the fridge. And this was at the very, very beginning of me starting at my PR agency, right? Mm-hmm. Do I keep the lights on or do I feed my kids? And I broke down. It just completely broke down and couldn't get out of bed. Took my kids to school, climbed back into bed. I was frozen in fear. And then something hit me like, well, you can stay in the problem and your kids are going to starve and you're going to have no electricity. So what's the solution? And that was when I came up with, and it's in all these personal growth books. I didn't come up with it, but I must have heard it or I remembered it or something, which was like, focus on the solution, not the problem. And that's what I do with all my companies and everything is when problems come up, I'm like, okay, there's a problem. What are the solutions? And so that day I thought, okay, what are the solutions? Well, one of the first things I did is call the electric company, explain, to another human. I'm a single mom, I'm just starting a business and, blah, blah, blah. And they gave me another 30 days. Right. Mm-hmm. And just things just started happening. And, I went and bought some food and I had to, back then I had to measure how many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and how much macaroni and cheese was going to, hold us over for. But I just started focusing on the solution truly. And I think that because I knew I never wanted to go through that or feel that again, I made sure it never happened again. And I've gone, like I shared with you personally recently, November and December were my lowest revenue months in a long time. I want to say 3 or 4 years. Very low because I was relocating from states and it just was chaotic for me. But I knew when I looked back at these last 2 months, I looked at it and went, that's okay though, because I'm back, I'm settled and I know how to ramp it up. I know the formulas. I know how to, I'm back and I'm focused and I know how to ramp it up again. But it's focusing on the solutions and not the problem. We all go through depression and setbacks and fine, you can have your pity parties. I have pity parties a couple times a year where I'm out for a week or 2 because I'm exhausted or something didn't go right or whatever. Believe me, chick flicks on, Ben and Jerry's out, bottles of wine, right? But I get back up.
And that's the key. It's like, you can get down in the dumps and have the pity party. I think I wrote about that in my first book. And It's like, you can do that for just so long and your friends and your family will love you and they'll listen to your pity party, but just for so long. And after that, they don't want to hear that crap anymore. It's like, get up and get going and figure it out. So you had to figure it out. You decided you were shifting. Where did you go from publicist to me, I consider you are my business advisor and strategist. So how did you go from struggling to a revenue making machine?
One of my secrets truly is, and really this sometimes brings up a lot of emotion for listeners when I'm on podcasts or I'm in, whatever media interviews or speaking. One of my first shifts in my 20s, again, as a single mom with 3 kids by 26, was Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul. I went to his mastermind group in Santa Barbara, California, which is where I now live. He changed my life, that man. And I'll tell you what is the biggest key to success with everyone I work with and anyone I employ or anyone that I hire as an independent contractor is mindset. So he looked at me at his mastermind when I was, my turn to share or whatever. And all I was doing was complaining. And he looked at me and he said, what if you stopped complaining? Like, what if you just, the whole gratitude things started way back then. I mean, it's been for centuries going on, like being grateful, but really had me focus on what I had. And I was, I had to start with the basics. Like my kids are healthy, just the basics. Anyhow, catapult that a little bit. I studied on how to change my mindset. I am the most optimistic person I know. And that might sound conceited. I don't care. I just am. I cannot be around, I refuse to be around negative minded people. If it's clients that hire me and I can't help them shift their mindset and they stay stuck, I fire them. Like I'm done. You got to get out of your head, right? But he changed my entire life, that man, at that mastermind. And then I've seen him over the years. I went to his mastermind right before the pandemic, 2 months before the pandemic started, because I needed like an upgrade, a boost, right? But Jack Canfield is one of my biggest mentors, and it's all in mindset. So I shifted from PR into becoming the social media expert, as people would call me, whatever. I was just a practicing, obsessed social media, whatever.
All those hours paid off. All those hours of studying it paid off, which is something that you tell me to do all the time. It's like, study it, learn it, YouTube it, do whatever you have to do to figure it out. And then if you can't figure it out, ask and reach out. I've learned that.
Yes. And we've been working together on that. So I don't know if you know, Zelda, but I do 4 hours a day. I work 12, 14, 16-hour days. It depends. And there's some days I just take off because I need them. But I spend 4 hours a day on research and learning every day.
I believe it.
I learned, like, I just learned the difference over the last 30 days between SEO and AEO. And I did a blog post yesterday.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Fascinating to me. But not only do I understand it and I've tested it and I'm trying it, I'm using it, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. That's not what this podcast is about. If people want to learn it, they can go.
There's so much I could go off on that. It was like, it reminds me of, and I won't get it right. I watched and listened to Gary Vee this morning. I think I sent that to you, but he was amazing. When he was talking to a group of lawyers about marketing. And it was basically, we had the yellow pages, they went away. Then you went to whatever, then you doing Google and all that. And that's going to be going away, as far as he was just basically talking about, where are your clients? That's what you need to master. That's what you need to learn. And that's where you show up. And there's no less, right now, it's the cheapest place, and I'm using the word cheapest place to put your money when you need to advertise is in social media. Because in a few years from now, when all this AI is really developed a lot more, it's not going to cost you $40 or $400. It's going to be more like $40,000. So I'm paraphrasing a lot of what he was saying, but it was quite fascinating. I sent you the link. If anybody here wants the link, contact me and I'll give it to you. But it was Gary Vee talking on a podcast this morning, talking to a group of lawyers at a conference. It was incredible. And I thought of you because I knew we were talking. He talked about something that I wanted to ask you about. I'm getting way off track here, called blockchain. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the new buzzwords. So maybe we'll get back to that or what have you, but because I don't know what it is.
You should have some blockchain experts. It's actually been out for years, and I dove into it. A company hired me a couple of years ago to help them promote their blockchain technology and company, all this stuff. It's very confusing. I have a basic understanding of it. Blockchain, NFTs, crypto, all that stuff. I have a basic understanding, but that's one of those things, like, you have to decide whether you want to become an expert in that area and really every day do 4 to 6 hours of learning on it, because it's constantly changing, the lingo and the algorithms, and it's a huge industry. I suggest doing a whole series on it. I'm definitely by far not even close to even being an expert in that area.
Perhaps we'll find an expert and we'll have them come on and tell us about blockchain. I don't know what it is, but we'll get somebody else. It was just one of those words he mentioned. I wrote it down. I said, we got to figure out what this is. So it's really staying on top. You want to be a revenue producing machine. You really do have to stay on top of technology and other things. At least, if nothing else, get a basic understanding of these things and then farm it out. That's what, So
mic drop. You just nailed it. Learn it, delegate it.
Learn it and delegate it. And you don't have to master it. You just have to know a little bit so that you can know what's going on. And that's really
true.
Like you said, yeah.
So that you know how to hire it out. So
exactly. You mentioned that. I wanted to ask you, how did you shift from the struggling? Was it really that was going to this Jack Canfield conference that made you shift your mindset, and all of a sudden you became successful? Well, nothing happens overnight, even though it did happen overnight. Absolutely, because of the mind shift, because of the positive mind shift.
Yep. So what I did is
you mentioned unconventional strategies. Is that the unconventional strategy?
I'm telling you. So I was also introduced back, I think it was a 9-day mastermind with Jack Canfield in town, or maybe it was 7 days. It was UCSB. So it was 100 people, and it was completely shifting for me. But also the movie The Secret came out.
Yes.
Around then or shortly after, I think it was shortly after the mastermind. He sent me that, and I pretty much still almost play it, not daily anymore. 2 or 3 times a week, I just loop it in the background. And there's other now mindset manifestations things that I listen to. And I'm telling you, when my mind shifted from my mindset from that mastermind, when I returned to my office, I think I got 6 new clients it's about $25,000 in new business when I returned, which scared the shit out of me, to be honest. So it was like, I wasn't now complaining about failure. I was now scared about success. So that was a whole other thing I had to get through. But absolutely, it changed overnight. It changed within a week. I had people just bang. I'm like, where are they coming from? I'm telling you, it's mindset. Anytime I feel stuck or my revenue is like a little off or something's not working with a client or something, I go into mindset. Whether it's meditation, I listen to, I have Audible books like you wouldn't believe. I have to realign myself and like calibrate. I believe in manifestation. I believe in vibration, and who you surround yourself with and what you're thinking. And that is truly my core belief. If I'm struggling in anything, it's mindset.
I definitely agree with mindset. I read, it was for the first time rereading it and really reading it. When I say cover to cover, I do mean from cover to cover, from the very beginning to the acknowledgments and to where the resources came from. Think and Grow Rich. I love, love, love that book because it's so about manifesting and faith. And as you know, that's my thing this year is trusting the process and all that. And sometimes it's a struggle. So it seems to me that everybody, the coaches have a coach, the mentors have a mentor. And how important has mentorship and coaching been for you? And what would you recommend to entrepreneurs about how to find the right coach or mentor for them?
Oh, God, you're asking such great questions. I always, for the most part, have a coach. I have since I met Jack Canfield. There's been like a year, like at the pandemic, I took off for a year. I didn't have a coach. There's a year here and there, right? Always have a coach. And for me, the coach has to be at a higher earning level. They have to be, there's a couple things, a higher earning level. They have to have, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word. Positive vibes. Like I look them up online. I check out what they're typing or posting. That's very important to me. And it's also very important to me that they respect what I do and that they're into it and they believe in it. Right. So I have one right now. My coaches years ago started at $1,000 a month was a lot for me, right? And it is for a lot of people today. Mm-hmm. Then I went to a coach for, $20,000 for a 2-month package. And so I keep elevating and, I told you now I think I'm paying $100,000 this year for my coach. I'd have to double check, but she's making $40 million. Right. And I want to break, the multi-million. I want to get to 20,
it's
30.
Who you surround yourself with again. It's who you surround yourself with. If you'd want, that's one of the things. It's like, I'm in some different networking groups, obviously virtually, but also in person. And I'm looking for the next group to join for one different one in person. And I'm looking for the ones who are above the levels of where I'm playing now. It's like, no, I've played that field long enough. It's time for me to level up. So
It
it's
is.
hard. It's hard though. So let me shift for a second here and ask you. So it's same in the same vein as, people are at different stages of their careers and everybody wants to scale and level up. So how do you recommend the entrepreneur who is not maybe brand new, but on the really strict, smaller scale, how do they take the next step forward as opposed to somebody who can afford the $100,000 coach a month?
So I love that you asked this question because it really involves you. And one of the reasons I love working with you, many reasons, is when you're first starting out, whether you're leaving, a paycheck job or you're starting another company, you've been an entrepreneur and you're taking another risk or set of risks, it's all about networking. It's all about starting at the most basic level of connecting with people. You never know when you show up at an event or you show up to something virtually, who you're going to meet, who they're going to know, who they're going to connect you with. And you show up authentically, you show up with, your authentic self, and you are building a business that I'm really excited about, which is not only teaching people how to properly network, but like be impactful and also be impacted by. That's why I love the Alliance and I love what you're doing. It truly is networking. So for me, even I just relocated back to Santa Barbara. I'm so glad to be back. I joined, I think I shared it with you. I joined this app called
Yes.
Time Lapse.
Say it again. I want everybody to hear this. This was so cool.
It's called Time Left. Again, it's a weird name for the app, but it's a European designed app, and I think they need to rename it. Anyway, it's brilliant. And what it is they hook you up with to have dinner with 5 strangers. I know it sounds a little creepy, but their marketing behind it was brilliant. And I signed up for it. I think it's been 3 months. I'm going on my 3rd dinner next week. And let me tell you, I signed up with it just because I haven't been out of Santa Barbara for a while. And I just wanted to reconnect with high vibe people. And I can't even tell you how much business I've gotten from it in the last 3 months. I actually have a wait list in certain areas of my business. And some of these people I've met at Time Left dinners are kind of basically on my wait list. I'm still helping them here and there, but I can't fully take them on right now because of other projects. But my point is, I wasn't necessarily even looking for more business. I just wanted to connect with people. And this Time Left, it's brilliant. It's 5 random strangers. And let me tell you, it's not creepy. It's not a dating app. These are all professionals, earners. Every dinner I've gone to, just amazing people. So anyway, it's truly what you're doing, Zelda, which is building a company to connect people, the Alliance, and teaching people how to be better at connecting and building these relationships and asking for the business and figuring out what other people's needs are. Anyway, that's your spiel, but that's why I fully support you, because it's so needed for entrepreneurs at any level, but especially at the starting level. It's absolutely the biggest key thing to success.
One of the things that I hear a lot of entrepreneurs. I host a small business luncheon for another group. I'm just basically the facilitator. I come up with topics and we discuss them. They're business owners. And one of the things I hear coming up a lot, and even online, is we hear about imposter syndrome. So have you ever experienced that? And what would you advise people for how to get over imposter syndrome?
Oh my God, it's constant. Somebody's got to come up with a cure for it. I think it's again, it does tie to mindset and the conversations you have with yourself, your self-talk. I had it as a starting publicist. I'm like, who the hell do I think I am? When I went to being called the social media expert. And by the way, I started at the same time Gary Vee. I love Gary Vee. He's also another mentor of mine. And we were friends back in the days. We haven't connected for, I don't know, 15, 18 years. I don't even know if he remembers me now, but we shared the stage together and we started at the same time. Here's the difference. Gary Vee went on. I mean, he spent 14, 16 hours a day networking online, right? To build out that way. I went on and networked and built a huge following, which I ended up deleting those channels, the stupidest thing I've ever done in my career. that's a whole other
We've
story.
all done something stupid.
Oh my God. I had so many followers. But what I went on to do is build an agency and focus more on clients than building my social media brand. And so he was able to balance both. Brilliant. I just focused on going one direction with it. So Gary Vee's an amazing, he's very in tune with trends and one of the things right now that actually came across my desk from Gary is live social selling, which is going to be, by the way, AI is one thing. Live social selling is it's the next thing.
What is it?
I'm jumping on the boat now with one of my companies. So there's apps like Whatnot is one of the big ones. They just got, I think they're valued at 5 billion already. What you do is you go on, you have a channel. There's 5 or 6 other apps that I'm testing out too. But you basically do live streaming. And for me, I have, excuse me, I have a curation company. I curate rare vintage items. It's a hobby of mine, but I actually know how to make money doing it. So I just go on and hi, Starr here. And I pick an item and it's already in the system. It comes up and you can do it by auction or a set price, and you have auction and bidding and they buy it right there. It's the way of the future, because let me tell you, we all know brick and mortar, unfortunately, is dying. People are waiting for customers to come into their stores. These brick and mortar should be doing live social selling from their stores, right? So this is a whole other tangent. I am jumping on the boat. That's why you'll see me. I have my marketing stuff, but I have a live social selling company that I'm going to watch the 90 days. I'm using it as a case study, and I'm going to catapult it. It's the next thing.
So I love that. It's like affiliate marketing, really. It's what you see on TikTok, which fascinates me. And my daughter is actually starting to dabble in this just a little bit. I talked to her today. She goes, Mom, I really can't talk to you. I'm watching all these YouTube videos to learn what I'm doing. And it's just, I'm like, okay, I'll hang up, and I'm leaving her alone. So that's it.
Whatnot. Because I saw what she does.
Yeah.
So TikTok, we're waiting not to get into politics to see what Trump does with the TikTok ban.
Yeah. But somebody else will take over.
I don't think it's going to be banned.
I don't either. But regardless, something will take its place.
Something will happen.
Something will take its place. So let me pivot for a second here. Some people want to scale their business, their existing business. Others want to pivot like what I'm doing. I'm a realtor by trade. Don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we want to grow another identity. How do you do that without confusing the entire public? You don't want to throw out your money producing activity, which for me is real estate. Somebody else could be insurance or whatever they're selling, but they want to build this other brand. And how do you do that?
So again, it goes back to the basics, what you're sharing with me, which is mindset. So you're telling yourself the story that how do you go and become a realtor, and then this, networking alliance guru that you're becoming without confusing people. You're telling yourself that story that you're going to confuse people. That's you are making that up in your head. People aren't confused. You're a successful realtor. And you obviously built a successful company connecting with people. You're involved in all these women's groups that you help lead and organize, and you're a very successful events organizer. And so you're taking your successes from all your businesses and you're teaching people what the hell you did.
How I did it. Yeah, you're right. It is a mind game. It is. And you have to, another coach of mine told me some really great advice the other day. She said, and I said, it's funny you mentioned that. I started doing this actually, like the day before I had that call with her, which was, when we all get on the social media and we start looking at the reels, and we're scrolling and we're stopping at the ones, and we're stopping at this one, and you see your competitors, and it can play a game with your head. You go, gosh, why are they doing so much better than me? Or so it appears. So instead of watching these videos or these reels that are messing with your head, don't watch them. Delete them. Don't watch. And I stopped. It was like I just scroll past them. I don't want to see it anymore. I quit watching them because they upset me. They hurt me. So you just quit watching them.
You have to. First of all, the moment you start comparing yourself with others, you're screwed.
Yeah.
I look at what would be considered or who would be considered competition, Gary Vee, some of these other amazing people out there. I look at them as mentors and potential partners, and I watch their feeds. Anything negative on my feed, I block, I get rid of. I don't watch the news. I figure anything I'm supposed to find out or know about will come across my path anyway, like emergency, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I refuse to watch the news. I will not scroll on Facebook at all because it's just a negative AI fake video. Like it's just a nightmare, right? But I have my Audible. I do my research time, and I take time to look at other people that are doing what I want to do. For example, Gary Vee was one of the first to the market in live selling, and he is killing it. Of course he is.
He's killing it. He is. I listen to him and Lewis Howes. Those are my guys. And gosh, if you are out there, one day I want to meet y'all.
And you will. You will. It's all mindset. It's all freaking mindset. Yeah. And you know,
those are my heroes. I'm like, oh man, look at them. I'm not jealous of them or anything. I just love them. I think they're awesome and what they produce and what they do. I just think they're great.
I mean, jealousy is okay in a way because it makes you depends what you do with that energy, but it can make you want to work harder and do.
It gives it's someone to look up to say I aspire to be, because that's how I look at these guys. I don't look at them as jealousy. I just look at them as I want to be the female Gary Vee. I want to be the female. Well, there is Mel Robbins. She is out there, but I want to be like them. And, you know, I follow these great motivating people because I'm going to get you to a question on this one. Les Brown, I'm in love with that man. Man, I can watch him first thing in the morning and I'm ready, charged and ready to go. So here's my question to you about that. You know, you work with a lot of coaching clients and other businesses, and you're juggling several businesses of your own. How do you maintain your motivation and your energy?
Well, I think, again, it goes back to I have my set of audibles and my motivational speakers. Les Brown is by far, I'm so glad you brought him up. I've met him many times. I've had many conversations with him.
So awesome.
I think of him as a friend, a dear friend. He definitely has saved my mindset over the years many times. I mean, you know, it's motivational speakers and people that I used to be a motivational speaker, and I would lift people up too, but motivational speakers need motivation too. It's life. We're human, right? Yes. Yes. And, you know, Jack Canfield's gone through tragedy and trauma, and like he's had to pick himself up a million times, but he has great mentors himself, right? It's just setting up our people. I call them my people.
Yeah.
It's truly, and there's sometimes I just need to watch a funny movie. I need to watch comedy, or it's really like what's in your whatever arsenal or vault to tap into when you're down. And it is also the people you surround yourself with. I only have 3-4 people I can actually text and get authentic support from I'm not talking about my coach or people I pay. I'm talking about friends that are authentic, that will give me support, call me out, you know, the whole circle, like, Starr, you know, let's think through this, or, oh my God, that's amazing. It sounds batshit crazy, but I'm on board. I have 4 people, and that's okay. You don't need 20 or 30 or 40.
No.
One, you know,
it is one really good one.
Yeah. And, you know, I want to go back to something you said earlier, Zelda, when you're talking about being a realtor and kind of in transitioning into building this company you're building. Think about the investors on Shark Tank. They have 50, 60 different companies in all different sectors, you know, but they're connectors and they're financial gurus and investors. Like they're known for that higher kind of archy, but they have all these companies underneath it. But that's what I'm doing too. I said, I have a vintage company. I have a coaching company. I have a training company. I have a lawyer marketing company. Like I have these different companies, but they all are under my main skill set.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you're doing. Your main skill set is connecting and networking. You have this brilliance in it. And I've known it for the whole time we've known each other. You truly have a brilliance. And there's a lot of people kind of teaching and talking about, you know, how to network. There's something different about the way you do it. There's a lot of things different that people need to know. Sorry, my dogs. I don't know if you can hear them.
No.
Anyway, barking, but there's something different about the way you teach it. And you truly have proven what you're already teaching because you've built successful businesses, you know? So anyway, don't get stuck in, oh, well, I'm a realtor. Well, I'm a...
No, I'm not. It's not that I was stuck in it or am stuck in it. It's just I thought I might be confusing people. It's like, well, what is she doing now? But that's okay. I don't want to go.
Not confusion.
I'll get over that. I'll get over it.
It's curiosity. Don't say you're confusing people. Say you're making them curious.
Ah, I like that. Curious.
What's Zelda doing? Ooh, I'm going to watch this.
See what she's doing. There you go. So let me ask you, what is the one piece of advice that you would give an entrepreneur for achieving their own exceptional growth? They want to grow their business. They want to make the multi-million dollars. What's a piece of advice that you would give them for taking those steps?
I just did a video on it 2 days ago, and it's truly making HPAs a part of your daily focus, which is high payoff activities. So if you're at the beginning of starting a company, your idea, concept, you've already started it, you've launched it, just launched it, you're in it 5 years, 10 years, you need to organize your day. This is truly why I'm a revenue machine when I want to be. And believe me, I shut off, like I said, sometimes. And some of my companies are, sustainable in that the income, I don't have to be present, but some of them I do on my companies. So it is truly HPAs that drive revenue. And what that is you only focus here. I have yellow tablets. So even you, Zelda, I have a yellow tablet for every client, every company, right? So this is my list of HPAs. I usually do 5 minimum a day. Today I have 13. I've actually checked off 4 of them already this morning. And these are activities specifically focused on generating revenue. So you have to look at it and go, is this going to make me money? The ultimate goal of it. And if so, when? If it's outside of 90 days, I push it, I reallocate it. Either I delegate it or I put it on at a later date. I'm doing activities that will make me revenue within 90 days. I do a minimum of 5 per day. I get them done in less than 4 hours. Remember, I do about 4 hours of research. I do 4 hours of HPA and then a couple hours of just catching up and organizing admin, which I've delegated a lot of, but it's HPAs. You have to focus on revenue generating activities every single day or you're screwed. Because people get caught up in wearing all these hats of admin. I got to organize emails. I need to learn this program. No. What are your HPAs? Get those done first. It's the book. What is it? Eat the Frog first. I think it's Seth Godin. I don't remember, but it's like eat the frog. So the first thing in the morning, how are you going to, devour this frog? Well, the first thing you need to do is just eat it. Don't sit there and think about how you're going to do it. Don't position it differently.
Really, it's like what you were saying before. It's take one thing at a time. If you've got 5 you got to do, start with one. Like me, I have several activities I do every single morning. I'm very consistent at it. It's writing my letters to people. It's sending my items of value to people. It's whatever it is. I have a couple of things that I do. It's picking up the phone, and I have a minimum number that I'm going to pick up and call. So, and these aren't sales calls. So these are just authentically checking in with my people. So that's another networking tip is you don't call people to sell them. You call and you're authentic, but that's another story. But it's those high producing activities that you were saying, because when you actually posted your video, I immediately said, I have another idea. And I acted on it and posted it. If you recall, I did a video giving a piece of advice, which is a new thing I'm putting in my high revenue producing activities, is sharing my knowledge. I can't take it with me to the grave, so I might as well share it.
You can't. I love that you said that. And by the way, I'm sorry. I realize it's Wednesday and my gardeners are here. So apologies.
We're good. I just wanted to ask you, we're about to close, and I wanted to ask you, is there something that I didn't ask you that you were really hoping I'd ask you, but I didn't, that you would like to share with our audience?
Yes. You asked me everything that you should have asked. Thank you. But I want to share one more thing. This was a great interview. One of the things that I want to say to entrepreneurs, no matter what level you're at, is you have to be, and you wrote a book on this, The Art of Bouncing Back, you have to be resilient. Failures, by the way, all of our successes come from our failures. All the brilliance of technology and invention has come from failures. Zelda's Bouncing Back. Great book. You cannot start a company thinking, I don't want to fail. No, you want to fail, and you want to fail fast, right? And you want to learn from it. If you just think about all of the great inventions we have, they're all from failures. I mean, look what I mean, there's so many companies, PayPal, how they started out, how many times they failed, to Google, to even Facebook and all the failures. You guys, you have to embrace, but you have to be resilient. You can't let a failure knock you down and go, oh, well, that didn't work. Guess I'm going to go look for a job. No, no, no. That's not how it works. How it works. That's it. That's all I want to share. You have to be resilient.
Starr, this has been so much fun. I've enjoyed it so much talking with you. If someone in our audience wants to reach out, maybe they want to hire you for their coach or whatever it is that they need from you, a growth coach, I highly recommend Starr. They have a question for you. How can they reach you?
So really, it's my website, Starr Hall, Starr with 2 R's, Hall, HALL.com. It's my marketing agency site, but I also do blog posts and, all my connection stuff's on there. I'm on social channels, not like I used to be because I'm focused in other areas, but you'll find me on Instagram, Starr Hall, Facebook, Starr Hall, LinkedIn, Starr Hall. Just, track me down and let's connect and let's talk. And I'll tell you what, if I do set up a call, I have a few questions before I even take time to talk to someone, but I'm going to do a mindset assessment real quick.
That's awesome. And also, for our audience that doesn't know it, we do have a group called Up Until Now, Your Next Chapter, and we meet monthly at what we call the Alliance, and Starr is going to be our guest. If you want more information on that, just shoot me an email. I'm at Zelda at upuntilnow.biz, B-I-Z. Yes.
Oh, I know you're closing out. Zelda, I just had an idea for this call. What if we start putting out, you and I both, for entrepreneurs to bring a challenge to the call that they need help with? Like they're stuck in revenue somewhere, they're not making any money.
Great idea.
Bring a challenge to this call, Zelda, that you're leading, and let's you and I whip them into shape and let's teach them how to fix it.
That's going to be on January the 24th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let me tell you, we have all kinds of entrepreneurs all the way from Africa, California, Florida. They're all across the globe. They attend this Alliance meeting. And in January, it's my gift to you. It is a membership community. But in January, to kick it off for the new year, just send me that email and I will give you the access code. So again, thank you so much, Starr, for joining us. And to hear more again about how to scale your business and all these, to answer your challenges, we'll be at the Alliance on January 24th. So you've been listening to Up Until Now, Your Next Chapter, where every single conversation brings you clarity that you wish you had known, because you don't know what you don't know up until now. So until next time, let's keep connecting.